Hello students. Today we are going to start with chapter number 1, the living world. Now this is video number 1. In this video I'll be covering the topic what is living. We will try to define what is living. We will try to differentiate between the characteristics of living and non-living. If I ask you that how can you differentiate between a living from a non-living, you will immediately say that ma'am, living things grow, reproduce, they respond to the stimuli. But let us see one by one each of these characteristics. Can they really define that what is living things? Let's take for example the very first thing, that all living things grow. Now, how do we define growth? What is growth? See children, increase in mass and increase in number of individual is how we define growth. Growth is increase in mass and increase in number of cells. In a multicellular organism, all cells grow by cell division. Now we see growth in plants as well as in animals. But the growth in plant and animal is different. The plants, the growth is continuous throughout their lifespan. In animal, the growth is seen only up to a certain age. In animals, like in humans, still you can see growth where cell divisions occur to replace the lost tissues, the lost cells. Unicellular organisms, they grow by cell division, like amoeba. Amoeba undergoes binary fission so it is reproduction also as well as growth, because its number of cell is increasing from 1 to 2. Now, can growth be the defining property? Defining property means one such property which is only seen in living organism and growth is never found in non-living organism? No. Growth cannot be the defining property. Why? Because we see growth even in non-living things. The non-living things grow by increase in body mass. Like for example mountains, boulders, sand molds. They grow by increase in mass, by accumulation of material on the surface. Yes, you can say that living organism grows from inside, non-living organism grows from outside, but they do grow. So, growth cannot be taken as a defining property. What about dead organism? Under what category will we put them? Living or non-living? Dead organisms do not grow. Now, second property. Let's take the second property, that is reproduction. Reproduction. We all know what is reproduction. How do we define reproduction? Reproduction is, you can define it as increase in number of organisms. And when we talk about reproduction, we generally mean sexual reproduction. But even we have studied, you must have studied in class 10th about asexual reproduction. Fungi multiply by spore formation. You have studied that. Yeast and hydra, they multiply by budding. Planaria by regeneration. You have studied about Spirogyra. Spirogyra multiplies by fragmentation. You have studied all this in class 10th. What about unicellular organism like bacteria, unicellular algae, unicellular amoeba, where their reproduction is synonymous to growth? Why? Because if let us take the example of amoeba. Amoeba undergoes binary fission. One amoeba divides to form two small amoebas. Now here it is undergoing reproduction as well as it is undergoing growth, because the number of cells are increasing. So in unicellular organism, reproduction and growth are synonymous. Now, even growth cannot be, reproduction cannot be a defining property. You will say, ma'am, non-living things never grow, never reproduce. Yes, you are correct. But living organisms, the sterile living organisms, what about them? They do not reproduce. Will you call it as non-living? No, they are living, but they do not reproduce. Like for example, mules. Mules are not fertile, they are sterile. Sterile worker bees, infertile human couples. They do not reproduce, but still they are living. So, reproduction cannot be a defining characteristic of living organism. Now let's come to another characteristic, that is metabolism. What is metabolism? Now children, in our body, in the body of all living organism, some chemical reactions are continuously going on. You know, these reactions these chemicals are either combining to form a bigger molecules, or the bigger molecules are breaking up to form smaller molecules. So thousands of metabolic reactions are taking place in the living organism. So how do you define what is metabolism? Metabolism is sum total of all chemical reactions occurring in the body is metabolism. If you can see over here, I have written something with the red pen. Metabolism is of two types, anabolism and catabolism. What is anabolism? Anabolism is a constructive reaction where simpler compounds, simpler molecules combine to form complex molecules. For example, you have studied in class 10th photosynthesis, that is making of glucose, where how was glucose formed? Carbon dioxide reacts with water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to form glucose. So carbon dioxide and water was simpler molecules, they react to form a complex molecule glucose. Whereas catabolism is a destructive metabolism where complex molecules break to form simpler molecules. For example, respiration, digestion. And in this catabolism, there is release of energy. Children, metabolic reactions, these are the sum total of all chemical reactions, as I told you just now. These metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the body in a cell-free system. Now, if these metabolic reactions, these reactions are demonstrated outside the body in a cell-free system, then it is known as isolated metabolic reaction. So you have to understand one thing better. Metabolism takes place, is the reaction, sum total of reaction which takes place inside the living organism. So metabolism is a defining feature of all living organism without exception, because no non-living organism will undergo metabolism. But isolated metabolic reaction, that is the metabolic reaction which is taking place outside the body, in vitro. Outside the body means in vitro. Is not a defining property. It is not a living thing, but it is not also a living reaction. So metabolism is a defining feature of all living organism, but isolated metabolic reaction, the reaction which is taking place outside the body, is not a defining property. Now, let us talk about response to stimuli or consciousness. We all know that living organisms have the ability to sense their surrounding or environment and to respond accordingly to the environmental stimuli. Even plants do respond to the stimuli, and that you have studied in class 10. You have studied phototropic, chemotropic, tropism, nastism. So they do respond to stimuli, even plants. What happens in this? If we talk about human beings, we sense our environment through sense organs. Plants respond due to some hormones. They respond to factors like light, water, temperature. All organisms from prokaryotes to eukaryotes can sense and respond to the environment. Students, photoperiod, see a statement in the NCERT, photoperiod affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, both plant and animals. What is photoperiod? Photoperiod is response to duration of light or dark. What are seasonal breeders? Seasonal breeders are organisms that reproduce only during certain period of the year. Now talking about plants. There are many plants which flower only in winter season. Have you ever thought why don't they flower in the summer season? Or vice versa? The plants which flower in the summer season never flower in the winter season. Why? Because this flowering depends upon photoperiod, depends upon the duration of light. So, yes, all organisms handle chemicals entering their body. All organisms are therefore aware of their surroundings. Therefore, consciousness is a defining property of all living organisms. But if you talk about human being is one stage ahead. It is the only organism who is aware of himself and is self-conscious. But if you talk about self-conscious, see, consciousness is a defining property. Response, because it is showing what? Response to the stimuli. But here again, there can be a question. A patient lying in coma in the hospital, virtually supported by ventilators, machines which replaces heart, lungs. They are otherwise brain dead. They are on ventilators. They have no self-consciousness. You know, they will never come back to normal life. What are you going to call these people when they are in coma? Living or non-living? So it's very, very difficult to define a living and a non-living as a biologist. Now, as you all you're studying bio, you are the young biologist. So when it comes to human being, it's more difficult to define a living state. So ultimately, what we conclude is that all living phenomena, whichever phenomena is going on within the body of any living organism, is due to underlying interaction. Now let us understand, what does it mean that all living phenomena is due to underlying interaction? Now, if you, let us say, you know that you have studied that all cells together functions as tissues. A group of cell is known as what? Tissue. Now, if you consider one cell, does that cell show the property of a tissue? No. Those cells show the property of a tissue due to interaction among the constituent cell. If the cell is not showing any interaction amongst themselves, it will not show the property of the tissue. In class 9, you have studied the structure of cell, and within the cell there are many cellular organelles. What are these cellular organelles made up of? They are made up of molecular constituents. Talking about any cellular organelle, mitochondria, lysosome, anything, they are made up of molecular constituents: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur. Now, if you consider only the molecular constituent, does that molecular constituent have the property of cellular organelle? No. If you consider the molecular constituent like it is made up of carbohydrate, protein, fat, if you see it singly as a carbohydrate, as a protein, as a fat, does that molecular constituent have the property of cellular organelle? No. The property of the cellular organelle is it arises due to interaction among the molecular constituent comprising the organelle. So, interaction results in properties at higher level of organization. So, therefore, we conclude living organisms are self-replicating, they evolve, self-regulating, interactive system. They are self-regulating interactive system capable of responding to the external stimuli. What is biology? Biology is a story of life on earth. Biology is the story of evolution of living organism on earth. How different organisms have evolved on earth, the story of evolution is biology. All living organisms, present, past, future, are linked to one another by sharing the common genetic material, but to a varying degree. Thank you.